And we're live.
Welcome everyone to the December 6th Disability Advisory Board meeting. I think first order of business, we're just going to approve. Do I have a motion to approve the October 13th, 2021 minutes?
I make that motion.
Okay, Dave. Do I have a second? Trish, do you want to second that?
Oh, I didn't know I could. I thought I couldn't.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, okay, I'll second.
All right, second. And all in favor, raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
All right. And so the second order of business is to welcome our new members. Right now we have Albert Cotero, Dr. Albert Cotero, and he's unable to make it tonight. So we will welcome him officially at the next meeting. But tonight we have Michelle Williams. She was appointed. Welcome, Michelle.
Welcome,
Hello,
Michelle.
thank you. Hi, hello.
Hello, nice to
I
meet
see some familiar faces, non-mask, and I don't see Dave yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. I'm thrilled to be involved with this advisory committee, and it's been a long time since I've been involved in the township. So my lane at that point was Historic Commission and HARB. So working in the disability world in the last several years and being a person with a disability, it really changed and how I can support the community and help. So looking forward to it.
Great. And can you just tell me, so what work with the disability have you done? Were you with the SIL? Is that the center?
I am. I actually am currently still sitting as a president elect or with the Bucks County SIL. And that's kind of a secondary vein, but I've actually spent a lot more time understanding the policies and regulations under ADA and people with disabilities. My career-changing path after I spent many years as a stay-at-home mom and did a lot of historic preservation and saving old buildings in our township. Some are here and some are not. What is substance use disorders and things like that. So I'm currently right now working on with the Department of Health and some of the contact tracing stuff, which is always evolving and as of Friday, changing a lot too. So yeah. Research. I do a lot in the research and policy world. So.
All right. Well, great. It sounds like you're going to be a great fit for our board here, and we look forward to working together with you. And,
I'm excited. You guys have done so much. I mean, just I've just been reviewing a lot of the things on your website, even above and beyond what Dave has filled me in over the years. So there's really, I commend you guys. I really, I had an invisible disability for many, many years and didn't even realize it. And now as a person with a disability who's more dependent upon accessibility needs, I commend you guys. And it's so deserving and so needed in Bucks County, as we see in the SIL. So.
All right, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Dave Rogers is unable to make it tonight, so he won't be jumping in. So I know. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we're excited to have you, Michelle. So welcome.
Thank you. Thanks.
And then just for the minutes, I was reappointed at the last meeting also. So we have the two new members, Michelle and Albert, and then reappointment of myself. Tonight, we also want to say goodbye to some long time members. Dave Rogers is not with us tonight, but I'm sure he will be jumping in on future meetings. He's been serving on the board with me for the past 15, 16 years. I've lost track, honestly.
That's what he said. It was like 17 years or something.
He's the OG, the original member, of the committee. So, and his expertise and, his involvement with the SIL, his knowledge, he is just his business knowledge and, knowing disabilities, and he could tell you all about the ADA, rules and He's just been a guiding light for me, and I will dearly miss him on this committee. But like I said, I think we're going to rope him in for some of his expertise in the next year. So he's not going to get off that easy. But I do want to publicly thank him for his time with us and his service to the community. And excited, I know where he lives, and excited to still see him.
And I will see him once a month, and I know how to find him.
That's
So-
right. So
I
we're going to
saw a lot of those plans.
That's right. We're going to still tap into his knowledge. So I'm excited that he's not moving out of the area, but just kind of taking a step back right now. So again, thank you, Dave Rogers, for all your help. The next person is Dave Mann. He will be departing our committee, and I'll tell you, it's been just very exciting to have Dave Mann on our board. He has brought so much knowledge. He was able to bring insights that none of us could ever, have imagined, or even starting with changing the name of our group. We were the Disabled Persons Advisory Board, and didn't realize that wasn't really a correct way of referencing, people. So we were able to put through one of the first initiatives, when he joined the board, was to rename our board Disability Advisory Board. So many more. He was chair for a year, and just want to thank Dave for all his work on our committee and our board and attending events. Enjoyed having his family, always his son and his wife attending our events. And I know Dave's very busy with a lot of things in Harrisburg. So again, I just want to thank Dave Mann for his service and accomplishments on our board, and we'll miss you. And you're not moving either, so I know I could tap into your knowledge.
Yeah, no, please wrote me in as well. There's a few items of special interest. I think you know what they are. But I'll always be a fan and supporter, even though I won't be at the regular meetings. And I just thank everyone for the opportunity to serve, and thank all of you for just the contributions that you make to the township. Make it a better place. It's important.
And you always have our ear if there's anything that you can think of that we should be doing, or if there's something, you'd like us to take a look at, please, just send an email, and we will be sure to get on it and see what we can do. And any new knowledge coming out, that you have with coming out of Harrisburg, if there's any new rules and laws, any changes that you think that we should be, kept abreast of, that would be appreciated also. Okay. So thank you, Dave, very much for your help. And then we also have Trish O'Donnell that will be leaving the board at the December 31st. And Trish has been on the board, one of our long timers. And I just appreciate Trish's help in everything that she has contributed to our committee, just from being secretary, taking the minutes now, going for hikes on the 5-mile woods, and getting lost for hours at a time, writing up the reports. And so I just, really appreciate it. She's always sending me emails with helpful articles. And so I think we can probably count on Trish to continue to do that, I hope.
Well, it's been my pleasure to serve, and it's been really a wonderful educational experience to learn so many things that I was just completely unaware of before. I just, see the board as just a wonderful asset to our community. And thank you to Lisa for all your support, Dave, both Daves, and Megan, who's not on the board any longer, but it's been a really wonderful experience. So thank you.
And again, we'll be seeing you around the community here, so you're not going anywhere. And I know where you live. All right, so that does it for our turnover. And like I said, the Lynn and Albert couldn't be with us tonight. They have a couple, he's actually sick tonight, but a few events occurring that they couldn't join us. All right, the next item I just want to go over is for future meetings. I do have an email out to Katie, the township supervisor assistant there. about what the plan is for 2022 as far as holding meetings. Dr. Weiss, do you know if there's any, we can still do Zoom or in person, correct? So is that going to remain the same for next year?
Right.
Okay, so we can kind of decide what we'd like to do. I haven't given, any meeting dates right now, so we'll talk about the next meeting date and decide if we want to do in person or Zoom. Okay. The next item I put community day, but it's just community events. I had asked Monica, the Parks and Rec director, if they will be doing any additional fundraising for the ADA assessment. And the only thing they have planned right now is the 5K Anyway run, which is where we did down at Mackles Park, and you throw colors. It's like a color fun run. And that will occur in August 2022. I think I put 23, but it's 2022. So they will look for our assistance, anybody that can volunteer for that, they would appreciate the help. She also asked if we would be willing to do a fundraiser for that. And this is just for Michelle. We did the ADA transition plan for the Parks and Rec.
Mhm.
They're trying to get an accreditation. So we put together a comprehensive look into all the parks and in our community and, gave our assessment. So one of the things is they're looking to fundraise to maybe do some things sooner than later, just little things to make a difference. I don't know what they're starting on, how she's prioritizing, but whatever they can do. So
Okay.
I think it's something we don't need to decide right now, but what kind of fundraising we like to do. Obviously, we're volunteers.
Yeah.
It's not like we're going to do this big event, but we get the help from the Parks and Rec department. So if there's something that we can think of that we'd like to do, I mean, the only thing I could think of, and Dave and Trish, you can chime in, but we always did the roll and stroll and up at Memorial Park. Could we turn that into some sort of fundraising? Could we do a raffle? Could we do, not charge people to attend, but maybe while people are there, we could come up with an event or some kind of fundraiser.
I guess the question is, what are you fundraising for first?
It's items in the ADA transition plan.
Okay. That the township can't cover?
Correct. So that the transition plan is more like over more than 5 years,
Mhm.
and things are going to be put in there. So these would just, right. We're never going to fundraise $1 million that's needed to do what we need to do. But
I was not to interrupt, I apologize, Lisa. Do you have a number and it'll allow me to kind of creatively think out of the box of?
No, I mean, the 5K run walk maybe did $3,000 to $5,000.
Okay.
So we're not talking, we're just talking we're chipping away at little things that I'm just trying to think of something that we would, if we need new tables at one of the parks, maybe a table that was accessible or.
Okay.
So it's just going to do something little. It's not going to be any major dent in what the transition plan.
Okay.
Has.
There's some creative ideas. I mean, in my former life of doing fundraising and development, there's some possible creative ideas that we can raise awareness of the ADA transition and, people with disabilities and maybe chip away at it. One thing I'm just thinking out of the box is where I hang out in the summer, our thought was to do a fundraiser for the beach mats that go out to the beach and, make something like that. So maybe you could just chip away at it and it would help improve the community, but it also chip away on the development side. So.
I mean, in my mind, it's sometimes nice to fundraise for something specific, like Dave, you're saying, like what, but maybe we should start like the shade for the playground or something. Maybe we stay on our mission of completing that. I know that was one thing that, people had wanted, and that's going to be, thousands of dollars, but it might be someplace to concentrate, what we're fundraising for. If we do the roll and stroll out at the playground.
Mhm.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about maybe, I like that idea. I mean, I know everything, this is my last meeting, so, next week you guys are going to be like, oh, David Mann and his horrible ideas. But I think that going after something specific is a good idea.
Yeah.
I think that if you're talking about the shade thing, I don't know if the township would permit you to put up something that describes the project and has some kind of box or something to even put in donations, so you'd be able to collect donations all the time, plus the fundraising effort that you're talking about. Because kids, families use that playground, right? And if you have something describing the need, it may be something that
like put a QR code there and donate. We're fundraising do a period of time, 6 months of, or donate a bench.
I like the bench idea too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, like I said, we have to think about what we might want to do there. And I'll get more clarification from Monica as far as, what specifically is the money going to go towards when we collect $3,000? Like, is it going to be used right away? Is it just going to sit in a fund? So I'll just get the process that she's thinking of.
Lisa,
Mm-hmm.
any money that's collected from the community, any fundraising, unless it's specified otherwise, will go into the community fund. The township already has a community fund.
Okay.
And that fund is divided into sub-funds. If the committee decides to fundraise for increased and improved accessibility around the township for whatever cause, we can create a sub-account in the community fund.
Okay.
That money will be reserved for accessibility issues in the township. So if the committee decides to do something like that, I'll make sure that that money is segregated and used only for accessibility and improving accessibility for the community.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think that's what Monica, because I think that 5K fun run must be segregated somewhere. Yeah. Okay. All right. And just to clarify, I only brought up in the beginning, like, we're volunteers. We're not we can't be expected to fundraise, for the township. That might be out of our scope, but we surely do attend events, and we can think of ways that we might be able to fundraise while we're doing those events.
Yeah, I was about to say that, I think it's also a good idea to just take a step back and say, is fundraising the best use of this organization's time?
Right.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that vein, Dave. I mean, one thing, and I apologize because I'm new here, but I'm just throwing out ideas because these are areas I'm comfortable with. Are we allowed to write grants, or is there stipulations as an advisory
If you
committee?
can identify a grant, we have professional staff which will help you write the grant.
That's what I'm thinking.
By some chance, starting maybe in February, the township's financial position is going to be completely different than it is today. So we have a whole slew of opportunity and possibilities are going, not that I'm guaranteeing anything, but money will no longer be a limiting factor. I mean, holding ourselves to a realistic, goal. We're going to have options, and we can have discussions on improving things without worrying about taking from somebody else. So,
Okay.
Monica is about to open up the needs survey. It's a professionally done survey on all aspects of park and recs in the township. and hopefully you'll contribute and you know, and pass it around. Make sure everybody we know, you know, participates in the survey so that we can get the best possible outcome and move forward. So, yeah, I agree with Dave. I don't think fundraising should be the centerpiece of this committee. I think, you know, recommending to the township the best ways to improve accessibility so that everybody can enjoy all the amenities of the township I think is the primary goal of the township.
Okay, yeah.
But raising $1 here and there, you know,
Yeah.
can't hurt.
Right. But you're right with Michelle, if you do become aware of any grants that we could, you know, potentially, you know, submit an application for,
Okay.
that would be great too. We can always do that. Mhm. All right, the next item, I just have the web page, but Lynn is not here tonight, so we'll just postpone that till the next meeting. Community center door update. I just wanted to let everybody know that that is still in process. The doors are being shipped and there is a delay. So Monica's been monitoring that, and that's as far as, you know, we are right now, that the doors are being shipped. So it's still in process. It's not forgotten about. And just blame supply chain problems. All right, the next we have some building plan review. Dave is not here. Dave Rogers is not here tonight to go over anything. So I'm just gonna, I did send out some updates and things that we're going to have to review. Right now, I didn't get up to Memorial Park or down to Makefield, but they did do some striping there. And so far they haven't put up the signs, but the signs will be put up in due time. So the parking striping looks great. So I don't know. I think, Dave, I did send you, there should be pictures attached to the email.
Yep.
So that's slowly getting done, but it's getting there. And they did do just 3 at Makefield right now, but they look like they were, you know, placed properly, one down.
Well, yeah, it looks like they are concentrated around the turf field.
Yeah.
You know, I think one suggestion that I would have would be that they would also think, you know, strategically about putting the spots throughout the property.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, because there's a lot of fields there, and there's a lot of.
Yeah.
And I'll take a ride down there because I don't know if he just sent us an example or if that was all. If I don't, you know, I don't know if they did additional. So I'll check that out.
Is there a ratio of parking spots that we're allowed to have striping for accessibility parking? Is there some kind of, that's where I get a little unfamiliar. Do we have a ratio?
There's rules. So we have the number of parking spots. It's like 1 in 8 parking spots. Or no, it's not even 1 in 8. 1 in 8. I can't remember what it is. I'm going to.
Yeah, because
it might be 1 in 25 now that I think of it.
My soccer mom days are
Yeah.
long gone, but there's a lot of field down there.
Yeah. So, I mean, Jim, our zoning director is on top of that usually. So he's pretty.
Oh yeah, Jim Majewski, who I know.
Yeah. The Scudder Falls Bridge, everyone saw that they did the opening for the bike path. So I think they opened up the new restroom areas, and that's all ADA compliant now. So there's restrooms, you know,
Right.
before you know, along the bike path there by the park and ride. And then the ramp that's leading up and over the bridge, Jim did say it appears that it has the proper slope. So everyone should be able to access that.
We have no jurisdiction over.
Correct.
Over the toll authority, the Delaware.
Right.
So, you know, I guess whatever they would do, but yeah, no, I saw that news. That's really exciting news.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to get out there. It's, you know, it is mid-December, and I don't know if I want to be on a bridge in the middle of Delaware in mid-December.
Well, today was your day because it was 60 degrees.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, 30 degrees. You're not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious to have you go out there and, see if you can maneuver. I think that'd be something really great to be able to,
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
get up there and,
I'd be shocked if I couldn't. I mean, that would, given, 2020 ADA accessibility standards, but it's always good to just take a look at it.
yeah. Yeah, when the weather warms up, I'll get out there too. So, but that's exciting for everyone, bike riders and walkers and.
Yeah.
The other plans that have come across recently is the Edgewood, CAM is going to build, Triola is going to be, has submitted plans to build apartments kind of at Yardley, Langhorne and Edgewood Road, where the dangerous intersection is that we
The point. Yeah.
the point that we all have to deal with. So we'll just keep our eye on that. I know there's parking, so we can look at the parking spots. Sidewalks, I think were an issue at the Board of Supervisors meeting last time, but there will be sidewalks on the side. I'm not sure about Yardley Langhorne Road, but my concern would be, people will be going to CVS. So as long as they have some sort of safe path to CVS, I would think that would have to be a consideration, because if they don't put it, people are going to be walking on the roads. We all know that people have to get their candy in the middle of the night. So
My son and I go by, he walks and I go by wheelchair to from Yardley Hunt down to Edgewood Cafe, and we have to we can't go down Yardley Langhorne. We have to come up to we go through the subdivision and then go to the intersection of I guess it would be Heacock and Edgewood, and then cross there. And then there's a path on that was actually that this group helped create in front of the Veterans Park, and then you can cross over there to a path kind of back at the Giant, and then that connects to paths
but you're crossing Edgewood Road in the middle, right?
That's correct.
Not at an
You
intersection.
have to. Yeah.
You have to, and that's the safest we can do it. Unfortunately, I mean, I guess the only other alternative would be to kind of go all the way around. Like, we could just keep going down Heacock until Heacock hits Stony Hill, and then cross over there.
Yeah. Right.
That's much further distance to go. The same.
Yeah.
We have until February to work it out, because Cam has withdrawn his appeal for now. So
Okay.
So there's plenty of time to look
Yeah.
into it. And he may decide on a completely different plan because
Okay.
of the board's vote the other day.
Are they going to put something other than a stop sign at that fork, or is it just going to stay as is?
Unless PennDOT allows us to do something else, that's the way it's going to stay.
Well, and it may be contingent upon the house too, which is, the one on the point, which does have a lot of historical significance, but it's always been a traffic nightmare. I mean, one of the original plans, Fred, and this goes way back, and I don't know where it could be, is Carter had proposed some kind of rotary design, which was more of a safety thing. I don't know if that would come back on the table. I know that there's just the rotary that was done down by the railroad track area, but I mean, maybe it's something that would deter traffic regulation a little bit more, but that's a whole different lane, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's all part of not just Cam's, apartment complex, but you can see that Dave Mann has to cross in the middle of Edgewood to get to that, to get over to the Edgewood Village. So
I know.
We definitely want connectability.
Yeah. Well, sorry.
Yeah.
To interrupt. I was just going to say that I think that if that area is going to be developed, these things are going to have to come into play.
I agree.
The more it's been, I mean, that area just, for the most part, has not been developed, right? This is new, but yeah, if they're gonna develop that area, there's going to need to be sidewalks. There's going to need to be connections.
Yeah. But even so, I think the best would be to, when you cross over Heacock, you should be able to cross towards McCafferty's, and then maybe there should be a sidewalk on that side of the road. Across, not Veterans Park side, because there's no sidewalk on the other side, right? Where the old, not Heston Hall.
The Grange
like
Hall, which is
the Grange Hall. Like
Kovalchuk's.
there's no walkability there, so no sidewalks. So maybe we have to shift the sidewalk to that side so that people can safely cross at Heacock and Edgewood.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a light there. So you want people to cross there rather than maybe up at where the memorial is.
Basically have a sidewalk on the Woodside Presbyterian side.
Yeah, right. Do it on the church side. And then that can connect up to Edgewood Village safely. So people don't cross at the point. You don't want people crossing at the point.
I know.
So bring them across at the other light at Edgewood and Heacock. So that would be, I would think, safest way.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll keep our eye on that. You know, even if the apartment buildings are not built, I still think we do have an issue as Edgewood Village is being, you know, built up.
Designed. And these are things that we talked about when I was on the commission a long time ago. I mean, you know, and now that I focus more on that personally, it's imperative, you know, whatever we do that from a safety perspective for anybody walking, because it was brought up at the meeting, you know, to get from point A to point B is very difficult. It's been difficult for a very long time. So.
All right. And then the other things, I did send the Prickett plans, but specifically Wegman did submit to us their accessibility of the inside of the store. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. Dave Rogers said he will continue to look at that, but Michelle, you might, I don't know if you would be interested in, because it sounds like you have some knowledge of buildings and, you know, that kind of thing, but maybe he can show you or tell you what he does and what he looks for. And then we can have both of you looking at the plans at the same time and then kind of, you know, bounce off one another, the different things that you see. All right. So we'll talk about that. And then, so maybe I'll have you review the Wegman plans with Dave Rogers for the next meeting. Okay. All right, so we just received those, so there's nothing to really tell anyone about tonight.
Thanks.
Okay. So we have a bunch of stuff, you know, that building plan reviews that will be upcoming, so we'll keep that on our radar. All right, the new business I wanted to bring up. I know I listened in on some of the interviews process when the board was interviewing Michelle and then also Alfred. So one of the things that struck me a little bit, and Dr. Weiss, you might have heard, I think it was Dan and John Lewis, and they were talking more about, you know, it seems like our group maybe focuses a lot on accessibility, you know, more of the physical aspect of people with disabilities. And maybe, I think they were really excited with Dr. Katera's, you know, background in special education and, you know, they were excited about that. And maybe we can come up with some programs for, you know, doing different things other than accessibility. So I mean, that was great to hear. And, you know, we're very lucky to have Dr. Katera on the board. And I guess I just want to make sure we bring up that in the beginning of the year, Lynn, we put together a comprehensive, dealt with the Pennsbury School District. They were developing a new IUP, like kids that were 18 and I guess aging out of, you know, the school system. And they have come up with a whole program of how to keep in contact with these kids and getting them, you know, jobs and really working. So we have all that. I'm not quite sure if it's all out on our website. So I want to make sure, just because the other supervisors weren't aware, that we are dealing with not only physical, you know, disabilities, but for the community that we are, we might not be coming up with the programs, but we, Lynn sat in on meetings with them and had, did like a whole write-up. And we want to make sure that, we got it into our meeting minutes and get it out on our website so that parents with children can see that the Pennsbury School District already has something in place that can help, children with disabilities to kind of continue, with their education or with job placement, and there is help out there. So that's what I feel like our group is, if we hear of something, we want to make sure we get that information out to the rest of the community, and whether it's physical or mental or, just job placement type things, we want to make sure that we, gather up information on that and get it out to to all the residents. But the one thing, and again, we'll go over this, that something we can do, and I talked with Monica with the ADA transition plan, was what do they have, like summer camps and programs for kids. I said, what would you do if you had a child that came in that had either a physical disability or mental disability, would they be able to participate in your programs? And, Monica was like, we haven't had that, but you're right. Like if somebody, if a child did come in and want to do that, how could we make our program, meet everyone's needs? So I think that's something that I know we had told her that we would work on. So maybe coming up with a plan for what would our summer camps, if we did, what could we do? And I think maybe that would be a great, so that was something I was going to ask if Dr. Gutierrez could maybe, start looking into, things that we could suggest and maybe write up and work with the Parks and Rec Department to get that going for next summer and any of their programs. So
that would be great. I mean, mine are in their 20s now, but if they were challenged with intellectual or physical disabilities, it would be a wealth of community, knowing that the community supports, a child that is challenged in whatever way,
right,
intellectual or physical, that would be great.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's something that we could definitely focus on, and then that would, help again with our ADA transition plan, the Parks and Rec Department getting their accreditation, but also just really being inclusive of all of our programs at the community center.
Okay.
All right, all right, anyone else have any new business that you'd like to bring up? Okay. All right, so our next meeting would be a reorganization meeting, but I think we usually just hold a meeting also. So we can look into, Michelle, what are days that are bad for you? Maybe I'll just start there. Like, do you have a particular day that?
The second week of the month is a little challenging. I'm involved in a addiction professional group, and we meet the second Tuesday of every month. And it's also the SIL. SIL is one of them's Monday and one of them's Tuesday. So anytime after 6, but if I know in advance, I can pop off my DOH stuff and maybe Zoom in. Getting over to the township's a little more challenging as we hit, weather and stuff like that. But
okay,
I can make it work pretty much.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, as long as we know the second week doesn't work, then we'll maybe we'll try for the first week or the third week of January to get organized, and then
sure.
So I'll just put out an email to see what works for everyone, and then we'll get Katie to advertise that. Okay. Dr. Weiss, do you have any days that are bad for you besides Wednesday?
Any day is fine with me.
Okay.
Except for the time I have other meetings.
Right.
And I would just recommend, at least until spring, to keep things virtual until all the members are acclimated and we kind of know what the future is going to be, because we can't do hybrid. It's going to be one or the other.
Yeah.
And if we go in person, we need it restricts us to the main room, And if we go in person, then to the sunshine law, we have to accommodate the public.
Yeah.
So even though the odds of members of the public coming in to watch and participate may be low, we have that obligation. So if we stay virtual, we can have people call in, and it's not a social distancing issue. So
Okay, so we'll just
think about.
keep Zoom through the spring, and then we can reevaluate at that time. Okay. All right. I think that's it. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Do I have
I'll
a second?
second, if I'm allowed, sure.
Yep, you are. All right, all in favor? Good night, everyone.
All right, good
Good night,
night.
and
Thanks,
happy
Lisa.
holidays,
I'll
everybody.
touch
Happy
base with you.
Holidays.
Yep. All
Bye,
right.
you guys. Bye,
All right,
Dave. Good
bye-bye.
luck with everything.